Alright, so I started selling when I was 15 or 16 years old, around 2 years ago. I've invested hundreds of hours on the doors and dialing. I've invested thousands of dollars in courses and things like that, and investing in my own sales knowledge and networking with other people to gain that skill. So for the people watching this video, I just want to summarize my thoughts on sales as a person that didn't really make it. You don't really see too many people talking about that aspect of the sales industry. You mainly just see the people that have already won and are still winning. So I just want to speak to the average sales guy that doesn't have that natural sales ability like I did when knocking on the doors or doing whatever you're doing, okay? So I started selling for spent probably around 8 months with this company. My first kind of formal job, and I got paid through commission, so it was around $250 per appointment that I set. Now, some of you might have landed a job similar to that, and you might have thought, "Oh, geez, this is so exciting, dude! Imagine making a bunch of money. All I have to do is sell for an hour and get an appointment and this and that or whatever." But it's actually not that easy to get an appointment, and it's a little bit tricky when you're talking about commission, because you're not getting paid by the hour or anything like that. If you don't make any sales, you don't make any money. So for that whole 8-month period, I made exactly $0, because first of all, the company that I was working for just was completely dysfunctional. I was 15 years old, and I was giving sales advice to my counselors, which was crazy. So I ended up dropping that company way too late, around 8 months too late. And that was my first big mistake when getting into sales. So first of all, the first thing I have to tell you is, so the first piece of advice I'd probably give you as a starter salesperson is pick the company that you work for, right, okay? Because first of all, if your company is not legit, or if the product sucks, then not only is it going to be difficult for you to actually convince yourself that the product is good to others. It's really hard to convince somebody, unless you're a bad person. It's hard to convince other people that your product is good if you don't even think the product is good, right? So and if your company sucks, that's principally terrible, because first of all, you can't trust them to get you your commission. That's one thing. There's a lot of things that can go wrong if the business just doesn't have a good marketing team, and everything is dysfunctional, and it makes your job as a salesperson really hard, and it makes it really hard to make money, which I'm guessing you want to do because you got into sales. And once I finally realized that this company sucked, I moved on to another company, which is called. So it was another solar company. I was selling door to door once again, and I was never happier because I actually had a team of people that I can rely on. I actually shadowed somebody for the first time, door to door, and we had a group chat. Everything was all functional and connected. So my first week was actually pretty good. I was pretty hyped to be that salesperson. And I worked for that company for around 8 months or something like that. I did make a couple of appointments, and I was pretty proud of myself for that. And I was learning a lot more because I was networking with other people, other salespeople, from the courses that I have been investing in. I'll get into that later. But the thing is, I had 2 issues, and I want you to look out for these 2 issues that I'm about to tell you when you get into sales. And one of the issues that I had stumbled on, which was the most obvious thing, I don't know how I didn't realize it I just literally did not believe in solar panels. So usually knock on doors and things like that, and people would tell me these terrible things about solar panels, like it messed up their homes in whatever way. And even though I knew, in my heart, that my bosses would say this doesn't make any sense, or our product is great, I didn't really believe that for myself, And I even got to the point, I had like family experiences where they had solar panels and it went not so great for them, and they ended up losing money. So for the longest time, I was speaking without like actual conviction in my voice. I didn't believe in my product. And like it's important that you realize this, because try to think about what you're selling and the job that you're getting into when you sell. Like, if I won't sell it to a family member, then why would I sell it to a prospect? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause that just makes it like kind of a toxic relationship, and it's gonna make it harder for you to sell anyways. So like, why do that in the first place? And the second thing is that with my actual bosses that I was working for, we had different ideas of what selling is. And just know, for the people that are going to get into sales, there is no exact science for selling. You know, I invested a lot of money into courses, around $4,000 or $5,000 to be exact, which is a lot for a teenager. And I did not make a lot of it back. Let's be honest, I had to work a part-time job to pay it back. So essentially, there's no definite way to sell something. The best definition I could possibly give you for sales is change. That is what sales is. What you're doing is essentially, a prospect isn't going to buy from you if they don't like if a prospect hasn't already bought your product and has already kind of knows what your product is, like solar, for example. Everybody knows what solar is. Then they're not going to buy from you if they have already made the decision that they don't like solar panels. So what you have to do is reorientate and change the mentality that they have around solar panels. Now, how do you find that? Well, what I learned was probably the best way, and this goes a lot deeper than what I'm about to tell you, but first you have to understand what their current situation is. So if we're talking about solar panels, you understand what they're currently paying for their electrical bill, because that gives you a base of like their current state. Like, oh, you know, I may be paying $300 a month for my electrical bill or whatever. And the potential solution for solar panels is that if you're under the right conditions and agreements with your local utility company, then your bills would essentially drop down. You'd basically be paying a lot less because the solar panels are producing energy for you. So you basically reel in their current situation. Oh, I'm paying this amount of money per month, and it's not good. And you try to associate the pain, you try to emphasize the pain with your questioning ability, a bigger pain. You're trying to find a gap of want from the prospect. So you can ask things like, you know, what is this, like you paying this amount of money, and you could ask them like how long they've been in the home for. They use like 10 years. So you paying, you know, $300 for 10 years, like has that like stopped you from paying other things? Has it made it more stressful for you? Blah blah blah. You're trying to dig in emotionally, because people buy off of emotion. You know what I'm saying? But I'm getting off of it. I'm getting on a tangent here. I'm just basically teaching you what I learned. But essentially, my bosses did not agree with that style of selling, and we would always get into disputes about, you know, I didn't want to sell it this way when I was shadowing them, and in the end they just ended up dropping me because I just wouldn't sell the way that they wanted me to sell. So that's another thing to look out for is, you know, your selling ability, who you're actually learning from. You know what I'm saying? So after I stopped selling for Blue Energy Solar, I just completely dropped the solar thing, because I knew I just wasn't going to sell it. I didn't believe in solar panels, and I just stopped doing that. So I started cold calling for a company called Glencoco. Basically, just like the Uber of cold calling, they just assign you a certain campaign to call from, and you sell for the product. And that's what I've been doing right now. And, you know, it's going fine. Alright, but to conclude, for the people that are watching this video and want to become salespeople, just know that you can make a heck ton of money selling, okay? Now, was selling in my cards to begin with? Did I have other priorities? Did I have school? Did I have a part-time job to keep up with? Do I have to be worried about college and SATs and things like that? Yes. I had to worry about all of that at once. So, me basically driving 45 minutes to a neighborhood, selling for a couple of hours every day, coming back really tired just to do homework, did that really put me in the best situation to make a lot of money? No. So that's probably a reason why I didn't make enough money, and that's probably a reason why you could probably do better than I did. And I encourage you that if you're working a regular part-time job and you have nowhere else to go, then definitely get into sales because it has a lot of potential. And number 2, definitely invest in the proper skills. I recommend NEPQ, 7th level NEPQ. Just look it up. Talk to one of their salespeople. It's amazing. It's an amazing way to sell, and it's a very nuanced way to sell. It's not just like building rapport with customers and talking about the football game in order to, emotionally manipulate them into becoming friends with you, and then have them buy your product. You know what I'm saying? Which, I mean, it does work. There are people making $50,000, $100,000 a year doing it that way. But the people that I learned from were making like $500,000 to $1 million to millions of dollars a year, doing it that way. So, I mean, it's just a matter of what you prefer, you know what I'm saying? But the most important thing about it all is that you just have to have the drive and motivation to knock or cold call or do whatever, schedule meetings every day, nonstop, and dedicate yourself to that, because in the end, that is what makes you successful in anything in reality, unless you're working a part-time job or something like that that'll take you nowhere. But if you're an entrepreneur or you're an aerospace engineer, you're somebody that wants to go somewhere in life, then that is what will take you. It's not even like what you choose, it's just the education and your drive to get there, So, for my salespeople, keep at it, stay hard, learn the right skills, and be better than I did. It's a hard world out there, and we just have to stay resilient. If you have nowhere else to go, then definitely keep grinding, dude. But I hope that this helped. Also, we're gonna have, because now I'm an entrepreneur. If you guys didn't know, we're starting our own communities and things like that over here, and I'm documenting it all on this YouTube channel. So if you guys want to learn more about what I'm doing, if you want to see my journey, my life, whatever, then subscribe, whatever. Alright guys, hope you liked the video. Anyways, bye.